Hot Chili Peppers, please welcome Anthony Kiedis! Hello Anthony, so great to have you here. Thank you, yeah, it's great to be here, great to be back in LA. That's right, you spent quite a bit of time here as a kid, didn't you? Yeah, I moved out to LA with my dad when I was about 12 years old. I loved LA, I had so much freedom, I met girls, I tried drugs, I even met my future bandmates at Fairfax High. I just felt this unspoken bond between me and the city, and sometimes in the band, I felt like an outsider.
Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was beautiful, Anthony. That really was beautiful. But you mentioned your father. Now, what was he like? Yeah, I'm actually probably a lot like my father. He's the one that, he did introduce me to drugs, but I followed in his footsteps, went to UCLA. That didn't work out, but he also got me into acting when I was much younger. I had a couple parts, small parts, but they were parts, and I made money through them. But my father was never much of a parental authority, and I think that's really why I loved to live with him, was I just loved the freedom, and I loved how he treated me as an adult. And do you think it was that freedom that got you so involved in drugs? Because it's safe to say that I think everybody here knows that you suffered from drug addiction for a majority of your life. Yeah, it is safe to say I've suffered from drug addiction most of my life. My dad gave me my first joint when I was 11 years old. I had done coke and Quaaludes by the time I was 14, taken LSD in the 8th grade. In high school it was mostly pot, but of course I did do some coke, and I injected heroin a couple years later for the first time because somebody told me that it would be like the 80-foot pillow that broke the horrific fall from cocaine. At what point did you realize you had really become addicted, like it was affecting your work? Yeah, my first year at UCLA was probably the point I realized I was abusing coke and heroin, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I started missing gigs because I was on the run, and it took Flea to snap me out of it when he threatened to quit the band. I realized I had to get my life together, and I'm sober now. I've fallen off the wagon a few times, and I still have.
Got pictures that I wish you saw. Sock after Mr. Know-It-All. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the blood I'll shed. With the blood I'll shed, it's a lonely view. With the blood I'll shed, it's a lonely view.
Oh wow, Anthony, that was beautiful. But you mentioned Flea, and he's been in the band since the beginning. So could you tell us a little bit about how the band has evolved over the years? Yeah, you know, it's changed a lot. Hillel and Flea and I, we started the band, and back at Fairfax High, we kind of ground roots started there, and then we invited Jack to play on drums, Jack Irons, and after Hillel passed, you know, God rest his soul, Jack couldn't handle it, so he quit. So we were without a guitar player and a drummer. We added Blackbird and DH, but Dwayne didn't really mesh, so we found John Frusciante. And then a couple years later, Chad Smith replaced DH, and we hung with that crew until about 2009 when John left. You know, Josh, who's come in, and he's fit in really well. And I'm, you know, really happy with the way we sound right now. Thank you so much for coming, Anthony. It's been great talking to you. Yes, thank you for having me. And you can get Anthony's book, Scar Tissue, on Kindle Fireplace starting this Friday, and everybody in the audience gets a copy of Scar Tissue. Yeah! Scar Tissue!